All right, we're back. We had some technical problems, but I think we're back now. Okay, so we talked about the Indian National Congress. These westernized Indians are really starting to be educated in the thought process of the Brits. They're speaking English, and really they're the ones that are going to start lobbying for reform. They're going to want things to change in India. Keep in mind, there are going to be different ways that you can push for reforms. And I have two examples on the skeleton about two guys who pushed reforms in different ways. One group of people are to say, hey, let's work within the system, okay, and let's get reform gradually. The other group of Indians said, no, man, let's blow this thing up now, let's get reform now. So really the first guy I want to talk about is Gopal Gokhale. Now, Gokhale, he was what we call a moderate nationalist. He wanted Indian nationalism. He wanted the Indian people to have more of a say in their government. But he wanted to use reform within the Victorian system. He wanted to slowly gain reform. He was, like I said, he was wanting to work within the system. Okay? Now, look, he's going to use a lot of Indian symbolism. He's going to use really Hindu symbolism to rally the masses. Now look, going to Hindu symbols is probably not a bad idea. That's one of the few things that actually most of South Asia has in common. The problem is that now you're kind of alienating the Muslims. On the other side, you have a guy by the name of Bal Tilak, okay? And he was much more, I guess, I don't want to say extremist, but he definitely wanted quicker, more extreme reform. Okay? Now, what he advocated for was self-rule. Okay? He wanted the people of South Asia to rule themselves without the British being involved at all. Go away. All right? And he encouraged the people of South Asia to resist the British. He said, look, get them out of here, man. So you can see there's both of these guys, they're pushing for more Indian control of India, but they're going about it different ways. Now, the British, let's talk about what they're advocating for. The British are coming in saying, look at all these different groups, look at all these different ideologies. If you don't have the British government here providing some kind of stability, you're going to have chaos. Specifically, you're going to have chaos between the Hindus and the Muslims. So you need us. You want us, okay? So now, look, that's not really true, but they said, look, you need us to have a good government. Things will not run if we're not here. Now, you can make that argument if you're actually doing a good job running South Asia. But we're going to see they're not doing that great of a job running South Asia. 1896, 1897, something's going to happen that has happened before. Remember, with India, you have the monsoon seasons, you have flooding, and in 1896, 1897, there was massive flooding, okay, which produced famine. And the Brits were not able to push famine relief from one area to the other, and there was massive starvation. Of course, this is going to be one of the things that a lot of the Indian people are going to go, yes, what are the British doing for us? They're incompetent. They're not good. Okay? Now, look, the British try to kind of paste this thing over, but it's not going away. Here's the big one. 1905, the British will divide up the region of Bengal. They don't consult anybody. The British are like looking at a map and saying, yes, right here. Divide Bengal into different areas. Now, no Indians were consulted on this. The people that they're dividing up, not consulted. And really, it creates a province in East Bengal that is mostly Muslim, which is very interesting. Now, of course, the people of India say, look, all you're doing is just trying to divide us up, religiously. Okay? And to be perfectly honest, the British were trying to divide these people up religiously to control them easier. because of this, we are going to see protests. Okay, we're going to see boycotts of British goods, specifically cloth. They'll take a lot of British cloth and they'll start putting them on bonfires and lighting the sky up with them. Okay, 1 year later, and this is the guy you really need to know. This is your key guy. In 1906, Mahatma Gandhi comes back to India. Now, he's been chilling out in South Africa, but he comes back to India. Okay, now Gandhi was a lawyer, and he's also going to eventually be a big spiritual leader in South Asia. Okay, and he is going to start organizing protests against the British, or against British policy, specifically British racism. Okay, and we're going to see it's only going to go further from this. Now, eventually, yes, you know, Gandhi and his buddy Nehru, they're all eventually going to get Indian independence. Okay, all right, I'll see y'all later, guys.